Hey everybody, welcome to our session, Multimodal AI in Action. My name is Chris Martin. I'm one of the sales leaders over here at Rezolve.ai, working with customers to see if our agentic AI platform meets their requirements. With me, I have Josh Carrero and Andrew Richardson. Hey guys, can you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, everybody. My name is Josh Carrero. I am a solutions architect here at Rezolve. I support our customer success team and our sales teams by offering advice on integrations and various solutions.
Hi, I'm Andrew Richardson. I'm an automation here at Rezolve.ai. So I specialize in delivering the enterprise integrations that drive customer success here at Rezolve.
Well, guys, thank you for being here, and everyone, thank you so much for your time. So we have a lot to show you today and not enough time, so we're going to just jump right in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show one of the most impressive capabilities of our agentic AI with our voice AI ability. So I'm going to actually call into our AI attendant help desk, which is going to help me reset my password. So bear with me here. Let me make that phone call, and you guys will be able to hear the AI in action.
Hey there, Chris. I'm an AI assistant from Rezolve.ai. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm having a bit of an issue here. I can't get into my computer. I think that I might be locked out and need to reset my password.
Okay, let me pull your details and see. Great, I found your account details. I've sent a password reset link to your registered email address. Please check your email inbox and let me know if you received it. You can say, yes, I received it, or no, I didn't receive it.
Yes, I did receive it.
Great. Please go ahead and click the link in the email to change your password. I'll wait here on the line while you do that. Just let me know once you've successfully changed your password.
So now it's actually asking me to do my multi-factor authentication. Of course, we're doing this through Okta for this demonstration, but we can mirror our customers' current security postures like Entra or potentially Duo. So I'm going to use my application here to go ahead and be able to reset my password completely. Great, I was able to reset my password.
Fantastic. Now that your password is reset, I need to create a quick support ticket to confirm everything is documented properly. Could you please provide your email address so I can include it in the ticket?
Sure, it's chris.martin@rezolve.ai.
Your ticket number is INC0184. Again, that's INC0184. Rezolve.ai will follow up on this issue. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
Nope, that should do it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Chris. Have a great day.
Perfect. So what I just showed, it was the ability to create an intelligent ticket. It can also be categorized, subcategorized, and kick off automations like password reset. But that's not where it ends in terms of our capabilities. So we have amazing admin dashboards for voice, where we can detect the number of calls that are coming in, average call duration, what the overall sentiment analysis is. So we can see any of these sentiment analysis. So I can view the transcript and the details. You can see here the caller hesitated frequently, indicating potential stress or uncertainty. So that all goes into play when you're using the voice AI ability. Now, in addition to that, I'm also going to demonstrate our multilingual capabilities, but I can't do this alone, so I'm going to get some support here. So I'm actually going to get my wife, Tina Martin, who is from the Philippines, to speak a little Tagalog for our audience today.
Hey there. I'm an AI assistant from Rezolve.ai. How can I help you today?
Magandang gabi. Napansin ko na ang internet ko ay napakabagal.
Magandang gabi. Sige, pakisabi po kung ano po ang pangalan ninyo at saan namin kayo pwedeng i-contact sa email para maisama natin sa ticket mamaya.
Ang pangalan ko ay Chris Martin at ang email address ko ay chris.martin@resolve.ai.
Salamat, Chris. Sige, nakuha ko na ang pangalan mo at email address. Ngayon, gusto kong maintindihan ng mas detalyado ang issue. Kailan mo unang napansin na sobrang bumagal ang internet mo? At anong mga hakbang na natutunan?
Thank you. So that was the brief capability of the AI to be able to detect language dynamically. So it understood that my wife was speaking Tagalog, and then it immediately switched the language and was able to have an interactive conversation, understand what the issue was, and ask clarifying questions. And that can all lead into a ticket creation process. So I've got a couple more things to show to you, and then I'm going to hand it over to JC to show a couple things here as well. So in addition to that, we just talked about the voice capability, automation through voice. So now let's also look at the virtual support agent also via email. So I'm going to pull up an email here. And so this is a support email address that we have, and I'm asking for a new MacBook, and I'm entering some details in here as well. So if I go ahead and send over that email, I just want to show that when that email does get created in our platform, it's going to be able to not only create that ticket intelligently with the information, it can map it to a category, to a subcategory, but it will also map to a service request, right? So it can identify there is a service catalog here. This is the service request. These are the mandatory fields that it needs to capture. So it can all do that dynamically. So once that email gets in here to create that ticket for us, we'll just do a quick refresh here. Perfect. Guys, so this ticket got created, and here you can see the new MacBook Air request. So we have our subject, we have our hardware type laptop, our full description, and even some of the content that was in that email, like the MacBook Air, the color, and the storage size was all captured dynamically for our service catalog. Now, we just talked about voice, we talked about email. So now let's also talk about our virtual support agent within Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to pull up an example here. So in this scenario, I'm an end user, right? And my computer's not working. So I said, help, my computer is not working. The AI is intelligent enough to ask clarifying questions to truly understand the context and the intent from the end user. So it's asking me, can you describe what happens when you try to use your computer? For example, does it not turn at all? Does it get stuck on a screen? Does it show any error messages, etc.? So it's really acting like a tier one analyst to be able to understand what needs to happen. So in this scenario, I said, hey, it turns on, but I'm running into this issue. Now, you also need to note, I'm actually demonstrating one of our AI capabilities, which is Vision AI, which is the ability for the AI to read images. So this is super helpful for troubleshooting, for triaging, but as JC will mention and showcase in a little bit, it's also helpful to deliver services. So I'm going to keep going through this process here. And I say the AI provides me with some troubleshooting steps. You can see it actually read the actual stop code and says, these are some things that you can try to do some troubleshooting. Now, if I skip ahead here, I said, you know what, let me try first. How do I boot in safe mode? It does give me some examples here. And then I say, you know what, let's go ahead and create that ticket. And you can see it populates the full subject, the full description. And if I go into the back end here, where you can see my ticket created 0183, that ticket is right here. And now you can see the full contextual description, subject, even the image I provided, and it's mapping to the correct domain, category, and subcategory. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to JC, and JC is going to show some Vision AI capability with our service catalog. Go ahead, JC, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. So let's just jump right into the demo. I'm going to be showing you guys how we can deliver services conversationally using our service catalog and Vision AI. So let's just go ahead and jump in. Say that I have an invoice that I need to get paid, right? So I can say something like, I need to get an invoice paid ASAP. And so what's going to happen is that the bot's now going to interpret my query, and it's going to check the knowledge base to see what options it has to address my issue. In this case, it's going to find a ticket type that's registered in our service catalog, and it's going to say, okay, so we have one. Would you like me to submit this request for you? So I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. And then it's going to start pulling information from that service catalog. So it's going to check what kind of fields does it need to fill in before it can create this ticket, what's required, and move on from there. So it looks like it's asking me to provide the invoice number that needs to be paid. That was defined in our service catalog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up an invoice here. This is just a sample invoice that we created for example, a Verizon wireless bill. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and just take a screenshot of it. Oops, here we go. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this is the invoice right here. And we're going to paste that into Teams and send it. So now I've provided the AI the context of the full invoice, which includes the invoice number, who it's billed to, the amount, and all of that information, right? So it's going to take that and it's going to check the fields and say, okay, thanks for sharing that invoice number. Could you explain why it needs to be expedited? So I'm going to say something like, we are already a month behind. And if we don't get this paid ASAP, we may get our service disconnected. So let's send that and then see if there's anything else that we need to enter to get this ticket created. We'll give it a sec to process. And there we go. So it got everything that it needed, and then it automatically filled in the relevant information where it needed to go in this form. So we can see that the invoice number was provided in the field that it needed to, and it pulled that directly from the invoice that I sent over right there. We also have additional details that I didn't mention, such as the name, right? So we can see that it's a Verizon wireless bill. We've got the address of it, and we even have the total amount that needs to be paid, all pulled directly from the invoice. I didn't have to provide any of that. And then as we can see, the reason for urgency is right there. So I can go ahead and hit next to get this submitted. We have a summary. We're going to hit submit, and bam, we got our ticket number. So that's how you can use a conversational service catalog with Vision AI. Up next, I'm going to pass it over to Andrew, who's going to be unveiling a brand new way to build workflows and automations using our new conversational AI flow builder.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Richardson here. I am the automation engineer at Rezolve.ai. And right in front of me, I have our Creator Studio enhanced with our AI flow builder and AI edit tools. So previously, our Creator Studio has been able to deliver any type of API-based integration and desktop automation through our PowerShell integration to our customers. Well, we are now bringing the power of the Creator Studio and AI plus APIs and scripts to the customer through our AI flow builder and AI editing tools. Right in front of me, I have a very complicated flow. This is a flow that probably would have taken weeks to build, because you've got to do API research, you have to do script research, you have to learn how to use our studio, we have to bring you through training. But now we're bringing the power to the regular end user. So here I'm going to pull up our AI flow builder, and we can see how I built this flow. So all I did to build this flow was I just prompted the AI that I wanted to add a user to a group adventure. Well, what does that even mean? The AI doesn't know that. If you were to just tell someone, they'd ask you for a specific list of requirements, and the AI is no different. So it asks me, what type of flow do you want to build? Do you want to build a simple flow which executes immediately, or do you want to build an approval flow? An approval workflow works with our ticketing, which JC and Chris showed off, which we could build a flow that has that runs through. Let's say take an HR flow, like you want to submit a PTO request, then we can create a ticket for that. And then once that gets approved by someone, either through the ticketing system itself or a Teams notification, then it actually executes a workflow. So there is end-to-end documentation that something happened, and that's all. And it was all built with AI. So for this instance, I chose a simple flow, which the simple flow is already pretty complicated. Then it was like, okay, who can be added to the groups? Only the current user, any user, or both options. So the AI was able to determine that this is a possibility through the Entra API. So I chose any user. Then it said, how should groups be selected? And it gives all these different options. So you can see that the power that the AI is actually thinking through the request that I want and trying to clarify, even though I had a misspelling here and it was very vague in how I wanted it. So then the AI took some time to generate this entire flow. It'd come back from the coffee machine and your entire flow was built for you. Automation done simply. So now you can also preview the automation and what this is going to look like to your end users and the people that are going to deploy this to in the Teams bot. So we can see that it even built in error handling. So if someone typed in a name that was incorrect, no user was found, clicks try again and go through the flow. You can see that this tool is extremely powerful in what it can do. But I would love to show you guys building a flow together, and we're actually going to run that flow through our Teams bot and walk you through the entire Creator Studio lifecycle of building a flow with AI and delivering that through the Teams bot. So I'm going to create a new conversation here. Now I've got a blank canvas. The world is my oyster here. All right. So what we are going to do here in the new conversation that we started is we are going to build a flow that allows a user to create a group and intro. So I'm going to call this flow create group intro. Now, if you have, for our engineers out there, if you've already defined an API server for your intro, so that's like the base of your, the URL in the flow, you cannot define that here. But just for this purposes, I'm going to create something brand new. So I'm going to tell the AI, I want to be able to add a user to a, I want to be able to create a group in intro. All right. So now I even spelled able wrong. The AI is going to do a deep thinking process on this, and it's going to generate questions for me. All right. So now it asks me, should the group creation require approval or should it execute immediately? So this is invoking, it knows that we have the simple flow and approval workflow option. So I'm going to choose simple flow for the sake of this demo. Also, what type of intro group should be created? So I'm going to create only security groups because we don't want Microsoft 365 groups with this flow. So and now it's going to ask me what information should be collected, whether that's the group name, description, mail nickname, membership type, or other, so I can specify an answer that the AI didn't think of it. So this is bringing that thought process to the user rather than having to think of all these and go through a whole system design. You're designing with the AI. So I'm just going to say I'm going to need the group name, and then that's it. All right. So now it also knows that there should always be a group owner. So I'm going to automatically set the requester as the owner. All right. And now ask me, do I already have a Graph API server configured? And we're going to create a new Microsoft Graph API server, so it's going to automatically generate that. All right. Now the AI is generating and doing a deep thinking process on my answer responses and my prompts. Once it goes to that deep thinking process and the AI is generating, you will see the code flow through and stream back to the browser. All right, perfect. Now you can see in here, if you click to expand this is all the code that the AI is generating. But here, if you've already used Creator Studio and are friendly with how the user interface works and what our different components are, you can see it streaming back API servers, APIs, as it generates them and puts it in the output box here. And a little bit after the AI finishes generating, you're going to see the workflow pop up on the left-hand side so you can inspect what the AI built and make changes or corrections, or go ahead and save it if it did it correctly in one shot. Or if you want to make a change, you can make the change in the same conversation. It's as easy as that. We can already see that it's already built an API server here, that's already built two APIs, so it's getting the requester, and it's also going to create the group. Then we're going to, then it's creating these user interface cards. If you click below, you can see the code that this makes. It's a get request type. Perfect. All right. So on the left-hand pane here, we can see this is the card that it built. This is the security group that it has made, or the security group card that it has made for the person to enter the group name and a description for it. This is going to confirm the group creation and show a failed one if it failed to create the group. Now I'm going to hit here and save all. Wonderful. All right. Now I've saved my flow. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh here, and I'm going to be able to see the flow in our Connect 2026 folder. Right here. Here's my Create Entry Group folder. My Create Entry Group flow inside the Connect 2026 folder. All right, everyone. Now that our flow has been created, we need some way to trigger this flow through our conversational AI. So I'm going to go into Manage Triggers here and select all. Perfect. And we can say we already have these triggers. So I'm going to add a trigger to associate our new flow. So I'm going to select our flow here, which is create group enter flow. And I'm going to give a trigger name. So this trigger name is going to be create a group in Entra. And then I'm going to call the description this. So creates a new group in Entra. All right. So the sample queries here, I'm going to add. This is to help the bot determine how to invoke the flow. So if you have similar different flows, you can put in sample queries, and that kind of helps the bot be deterministic on which flow to do, especially when you're using our AI flow generator and you have made over 1,000 different flows in successful automations for your company. All right. So sample queries, I want to create a new group. Entra. Create a new group. Then Entra group. I need a new group. All right, so this will help our bot determine where and when to start the trigger flow based on these queries. And below that, we can also see your audiences. So if you have some more sensitive flows, like you don't want to be everyone creating security groups, or you don't want people creating users or doing offboarding requests, you can set the audiences to only your IT team or HR team, depending on who they're made for. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this trigger. Perfect. Now this trigger is going to go into draft state, and then our AI is going to process this on the back end, and then we are going to be able to trigger this flow. Now that I've refreshed, I can see that this trigger has been published. So now we're going to go over to the bot and trigger this flow. So there's multiple ways to trigger a flow. You don't have to use exactly the wording that you specified there. So you don't have to have people typing in and they're missing spaces. The bot is smart, so it can determine what you want it to do. So I'm going to say I want to create a new group. Now the bot is going to think through and see what triggers match. All right, perfect. Now I've triggered our flow create security group. So I'm going to call this connect 2026 group. And then welcome to connect, everyone. Perfect. All right, now it's going to confirm group creation. These are the details for creating the group. Now we can see that, when I prompted the AI, all I said was to create a group. I didn't ask for all this extra, but the AI was able to understand based on the questions that it asked and based on how, flows are created from our flow rules, that this is the best practice for creating flows and that you're going to want a confirmation before actually creating something. So I'm going to create this group. Perfect. Now the group was created successfully. I can see the group name. I can even see the group ID, and the owner is myself. So now I have our Entra development tenant pulled up here. So let's see, I'm going to refresh this. Perfect. And we have our Connect 2026 group. This is perfect. This is wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Connect, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to be handing this back over to Chris.
Thanks so much, Andrew. I mean, that's just incredible. Today in our session, we talked about multimodal, right? Whether that is through, chat, whether it's Slack or Microsoft Teams, web, whether it's email, whether it's voice, right? There's so many different capabilities in terms of having your employees and or your customers interacting with the AI. And then the automation capabilities is just groundbreaking, right? So our new AI flow builder with conversational automation radically simplifies how automation is designed and delivered. So instead of weeks of complex configuration, users can now build, test, and deploy intelligent workflows in only minutes, simply by describing what they need or what they want to automate. The platform translates natural language into production-ready flows, handles logic and integrations automatically, and adapts in real time through conversations. The result? Faster time to value, less dependency on technical resources, and powerful automation that anyone can deliver at speed the business demands. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed the session. I hope that you enjoy your breakout sessions. And also, please stay around for our customer awards later on today. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.